Hello everyone and welcome back to Turner's Tutoring. I'm Mr. Turner coming to you with our math video today. And for this one, we're going to be doing some fraction practice along with word problems. So our main focus is, or our concept is going to be fractions, but it's going to be through the mode of word problems. That being said, thank you to everyone who is subscribing. If you are watching this and you have not subscribed yet, please think about, and I invite you to please subscribe. That being said, let's go ahead and get into our math practice. These are fractions. And in third grade, at least in my district, they start working on the basics of fractions and getting to understand them. Even in second grade, they kind of do, but third is really where the practice is. And in fourth grade, you start really heavy-duty working on this. So we're going to start with a tough problem. Let's go ahead and do number 1. The swim team is sharing 6 pizzas. There are 36 players on the team. If each member has 1 slice and each pizza has 8 slices, how much pizza in fraction form will be left over? So there's a few ways that we need to digest this or break this apart. First things first, we have 6 pizzas. And if you look at this and you counted the pizzas, you'd see that there are 6 pizzas. 36 players is another thing that we need to hold on to. And we need to wait because we're going to need that information, but not quite yet. Each member is 1 slice. So each member has 1 slice, and that's important too. And each pizza has 8 slices. Each pizza has 8 slices. So we've broken this down. We've got the different pieces of information. Now we need to know which we start with. So this is a pretty big problem. We could say this is a 2-step equation. We're going to start with something that I think if we understand the total amount of slices that we have, this is going to help us kind of break things down, even though we are focused on fractions. If I have 6 pizzas with 8 slices each, we know this to be 48. And we get that by 6 times 8 equals 48. And this is not necessarily to bombard you with a whole lot of information, give more information on top of everything that you have. This is just to know that in total we have 48. Now, the next step that I would go about with this information is going, okay, I have 6 pizzas, and each pizza is split into 8. So technically, each one, or each part, is worth 1/8 part, because we're working with fractions. So this has 8, 8, 8, 8, and so on and so forth. For time's sake, we're going to stick to this as I continue to talk. So if each thing is 8, 8, each pizza shows the value of 8 over 8 because there's 8 slices within each one. We know that that we're going with the whole compared to how many parts there is. So the 1 whole and so on and so forth. Now we're sitting with, we have 36 players, each get 1 slice. So if I count this out and I get to 36, is that a multiple of 8 or not? We got to be thinking about that because math is all a patterns game. I'm going to count out. We've got 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. And I know that I did half of this. So I'm going to draw a little line to kind of mark. So this is where it starts getting into how do we represent this as a fraction form. We know that we didn't make it to the full 48 because 36 does not bring us over. But now we're looking at this. So I see a few ways that we can sit here and think about this. In our fraction, I see 4 whole pizzas, 4 whole pizzas, and then half of this one. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 slices, 4 over 8. So we're trying to do how much pizza in fraction form will be left over. So that's how much was eaten. Now we need to count how much there is left. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 whole pizza is left. 1 and 4/8. So how much is left? That is our fraction. So do we need to know this information? No, but I think that knowing that we're not going over that is a good way of looking at it. But the main part is knowing that in the fractional form, we've counted out 36 slices to get us to this point to know that there's half. And then we count out what's left over. If we wanted to do this as a fraction over 1 or greater than 1, there's 2 ways of going about this. We can count how many are left, which is 12 over 8. Or you can sit there and you can go 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And that gives that as an equivalent fraction, but it's just a different form. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2 after that very, very long one. If Harrison eats 1/3 of a cookie and Eden eats 2/3 of another cookie of the same size, who has eaten the most cookie? So we know that they have the same denominator. The numerators are different, so we can compare these. 1/3 to 2/3. And we can say, well, that one's greater, which means that Eden ate more. But there's another way that we can go about this. Not just using that, but we can represent this as a picture. Now again, I am not an artist. I don't know if I've ever said that, but I say this to my kids, so bear with me as I try to draw this out. And hopefully I don't mess it up too much. But we can draw it out. We've got 1/3 and 2/3. And then you can clearly see that, well, the right side, or the 2/3, is definitely a larger fraction than 1/3. Moving on to number 3. A recipe for cake calls for 3/8 cup of chocolate chips and 1/4 cup of walnuts. Will there be more chocolate chips or more walnuts in the cake? So we've got 2 different denominators now. 2 different denominators, which means we need to find a like denominator and then compare. So we've got 3/8 in comparison to 1/4. And we could draw the picture, but let's go ahead and practice another strategy to bring this up to a fraction that has the same denominator. Well, we know that 8 is a multiple of 4. We know that we're timesing by 2 to get to 8, and whatever we do to the bottom, we got to do to the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. So 3/8 compared to 2/8 here. Will there be more of chocolate chips or walnuts? So we say Kate calls for chocolate chips, and this one's walnuts. And we've got 2/8 compared to 3/8. This has the largest number, so there's definitely going to be more chocolate chips. We could also sit there and say, okay, we've got the picture that we could have drawn, but for time's sake, we'd use that for the previous one. Let's go ahead and move on into 4 so that we can complete our page for today. Lincoln Elementary is having a field day. If 2/8 of the students are on the blue team, 1/8 of the students are on the red team, 1/8 of the students are on the yellow team, and 4/8 are on the green team, which team has the most students? We've got 2/8, 1/8, 1/8, and 4/8. Now when we're looking at all of this, I've got 2/8 compared to 1/8, compared to 1/8, compared to 4/8. And the important thing to take a look at is do they all have the same denominator, which is the bottom, denominator, 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 denominator. And we look then which has the larger numerator, which is the top. And we see that 4/8 is the largest amount. So that means that we go back, green team and sweet dill, because green is my favorite color. I'm going to skip the drawings for the sake of the video, but thank you for joining me for fractions practice in the form of word problems. Once again, I invite you to subscribe if you haven't. And if you feel like you've been benefiting, I do invite you to subscribe. But that being said, I am Mr. Turner with Turner's Tutoring, wishing you guys a fantastic rest of your math practice. Have a great one.